I can figure out how to do world building again. So I'm going to open up Blender, and I'm going to make sure that, yeah, I have OSM in here. Now, if you wanted to do OSM, that is OpenStreetMap, you'd have to go to Preferences, and you'd have to go Install, and then you'd have to go to Blender OSM for OpenStreetMap and click on it, and then you would get this for 0. You can pay for it, or you can, they're very kind, they'll give it to you for free if you put 0 here and you order the OpenStreetMap and terrain. So that's how you get that. It's right here, gumroad.com, but just type in Blender OSM and that'll come out. And then it tells you that it's free unless you get the premium version, which I have, which is 1780. But you can add that. And then there's these things on how to add Blender OSM to Blender. But I've already added it. So you find the folder that has Blender OSM, and then you install the add-on, and then you put the check mark on it, and it should show up as, if you do OSM, if I knew how to type, there it is. As long as you've checked this, the other things you'll have to do is you will have to have a directory to store the terrain files, or it will not work. So usually you would put in some directory here. I'm doing everything in the Blender Foundation, and I have Blender OSM. So I tend to have it as some new folder, Rosebud Continuum, and there it is. I'll pick that folder there. So you have to give it a folder where you want it to put those things, and then after you've given it the directory, then you want to get a token for either ArcGIS or Mapbox. It'll take you to Mapbox account. You have to make an account. That is free. And when you've made that account, then you'll create a token or use a token, and I have a token here when we did the fight against bad development, when we were fighting KB Homes. I made a token here, or you'll create a token. Once you copy that token, you come back to Blender, and you want to paste it in there. All right, and that's about it for me for here. You should be able to save it. File paths, interface, what is our, here it is, save preferences. All right, that will give you the ability when you open up this window here, clicking on this little arrow, you should have that OpenStreetMap tab to use. I've got several of them. I've got Viewing in VR, I've got Tree Generator, and I've got OSM. OSM is OpenStreetMap. So then you're going to select a place that you want to import. I don't need this cube anymore, so I'm going to delete that. Select, and it'll open up a map. And then I'm going to type in here Rosebud Continuum Florida. And let's see what it comes up with. Yeah, there we are. So that's us. And so I can then take that and show the selection rectangle. It doesn't need to be that big. I'll bring it down to what we actually are. I think I'll keep Hale Road a little bit more than that, and Collier Parkway. All right, and you can see up here, you can look at it by the satellite. So that's the image that we're going to use for our world, and I'm going to copy those coordinates. Then I'm going to go back to Blender, and I'm going to paste those coordinates right in here. And then I'm going to go and drop down to the terrains. The first thing I'm going to do is the digital elevation map of the terrain. I'm going to import it. And it did it. There it is. Doesn't have any color or anything. So then I'm going to go over to here again and then pick the image overlay. And that's where that Mapbox token came in. And I'm not going to use the ArcGIS satellite. I'm going to use Mapbox satellite because I have a token for that. And I'm going to import that. And it's going to sit here and it's going to pull those tiled images in. And nothing's going to seem to have happened because you're still on the viewport shading. There's the mesh, there's viewport shading, and here is that is the viewport shading for the for displaying texture images. All right, so we've got that piece of Rosebud done there. It would have a contour, but you know, this is Florida, so there's not a lot of digital elevation. There's no mountains here. I think if you really wanted to, you could actually go in here and we could go back to the mesh. Well, before we do the mesh, we could go and hit Tab to edit and then take this section by clicking off of it, doing C and selecting this here. And then if we've selected all of this from the lake, which is only 10 feet deep, which is why it doesn't show up as much of anything. But I can take this bit here, and then I can, I think if I right click, I go subdivide and subdivide and subdivide, and then I can have a little more control over it, and I can go and select just up to the bank of the lake like this, selecting those dots. And then if I go over here and I hit G and Z, I can drop the level of the lake down a little bit, just so we have something that has some contour to it. Maybe a little bit farther down there. There. That's the extent of the terrain here in Florida. So I can go to Tab, and now, yeah, I have a lake. But the lake is a little artificial because it doesn't have any water in it, but we can fill that in with water later. Okay, that's fun. I'm going to save this then as, in the Rosebud thing, I'm going to save this as Rosebud terrain. And I also then want to go and I want this image, this one here that I used, it's called overlay.png. I'm going to rename it and call it Rosebud overlay as a PNG file, and I'm going to save as. And where would I put it? This is in a folder called Materials for Culhane Models. Model. Let's see. Well, actually, I might as well get right to it because in my F drive, I have a folder called Unity Short Path, and there's Rosebud, and it has an assets, and it's got drawdown images and materials and then landscape images. There's an earlier image I took, but I want this updated one, so I'm going to paste it in here. And then as for the actual model itself, I'm going to go back to the layout, and I'm going to hit export and export it as an FBX. And again, I'll put that FBX in the same folder. Short path, Rosebud, and then assets, drawdown materials, landscape images. I should make another folder in here, and I'm going to call landscape models, landscape models. And I will export the FBX to there. Ooh, one problem. I need to, sorry, let me do that again. Export the FBX, but I should make sure that I'm only doing selected objects because I don't want the camera and the light to be exported. Well, the other thing I should do before I do that is make sure, no, it's okay, that the dot is in the center. And there's no camera. So their camera would show up in there somewhere, and we don't want the camera. In fact, I'm just going to delete the camera, and I'm going to delete the light, and then I don't have to worry about it. So I select that, and then go to, I'm going to save it. I'm going to go to export the FBX, and re-export it over that. All right. So good. So we have that. Now I should be able to close Blender, or just put it down a second, and go into my Unity file that I want to bring into to VRChat. And so I have landscape models, and if I bring that model there, oh, it already came in with its own image. Look at that. So I've got Rosebud, and it has some texture to it, which is kind of cool. So that's the first thing I've done. I've just taken the landscape and put it in. I'm going to save this. And now I'm going to see if I can upload this. Where am I saving this? Rosebud, drawdown images, Udon Sharp. I'm going to call this Rosebud for VR chat scene. Okay. So I've got that. Now, to publish this, I'd gone up here and I've got the VRChat SDK. It has a splash screen. Took me a while to get this loaded up. Show control panel. I'm authenticated. I'm allowed to publish worlds. I've logged myself in. I'm on Builder. And then you may test it in VRChat client. We'll invite one. You can launch multiple clients. So build and test. So the first thing is to build and test it. Just make sure it works. And I don't know how we test it. I don't know what, this is where I'm in new territory. I don't know what's going on here. Switch build target to Android. Do that later when I do it for the Oculus. There it goes. Oh, it does take a while, it looks like. So it disappears. Nothing to be concerned about. It builds the shaders. It opens up a test version of VRChat. And then you get that great music from VRChat. One thing I need to learn is how big a model I can make. Is OBS Studio still working? Yeah, it is. Okay. So go. Let's see if the world works. Oh, look at that. All right, so there's my world falling through the sky. Okay, so that wasn't good. It's obviously got problems. All right, it worked, but it's got some big problems because it just floats in thin air. How do we get out of this? Help, help, help. Okay, so we didn't do something right. Let's go and task manager and get rid of that. What is that, the Unity editor? No, it's the Creator Companion VRChat and task. Okay. So we obviously didn't do something right here, and that's something that we didn't do right is that the Rosebud terrain here, when we look at the components, first of all, is it in the center? That's one thing. Is it at 0? Yes, it's 0, 0, 0. The rotation is fine. It probably needs a some kind of collider. So I have a box collider. So why don't I do a box collider? There we go. And see if that works for it. It's all this troubleshooting that takes some time. And the box collider is not a trigger. We don't want to use gravity. I think I said we were falling through the world. The world was staying there, but we were tumbling through it. So let's try it again. Let's build and test. I should have saved it, but we'll see. Maybe the box collider will help. Meanwhile, I guess while it's doing that, I can go back to Blender. Although the thing is, if I build it in Blender, if I'm bringing in assets, I'll be bringing them into Unity. So I may just use Blender just for the terrain and do everything else in Unity. build things in Blender, bring them in. Okay, so we're back to VRChat test. And we're saying go. And let's see if our world works. Waiting, almost done. Okay, same problem. Everything just falls away. Looks like because we're way over, we're like coming into the world in a weird place. And that's got to be what it is, because otherwise, like what happens when we rebounce? How is it that it's, right? So I really do not know why. We hit Alt-Tab and let me get out of VRChat. I can't get out of VRChat, can I? Yes, I can close the window there. Yeah. Come on, VRChat. There you go, you're done. All right, so maybe what I need to do is to move this. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I know what I'm going to do, because you don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to create a 3D object, which is going to be a cube. And where did my cube go? Hit F, it went there. Yeah, so that's where it says is the center of the world. And my world's way up there. So that's a maybe, no wonder. It came in the wrong place. So maybe I bring this way down to where the cube is. Let me see where the cube is again. All right, so there's my cube, and I want my cube, which seems to be the center of the world, I want my world to be down where the cube is. So Rosebud terrain, and bring it down. Here's my cube, you can almost see it way over here. If that's the center of the world, then my terrain's center should roughly match it. Can you see that there? So I'm like taking the center of the VRChat world and making it like that. Because the VRC world, where's the VRC world? That's way over there. If I look at it from the top, ooh, that's not so good. Maybe that's the center of the world there. I'm going to move that. VRC world over here too. Maybe I'll end up dropping. I'm not sure where you come in. Do you come in where the cube is, or do you come in where the VRC world is? At any event, we'll try it like that, and we'll see if we end up falling through the sky or we end up on the floor. And then we'll know more. Build and test. Let's find out. So, waiting. And should point out that I'm using something called the VRChat Creator Companion. There used to be a software developers kit or SDK that you had to install into Unity, and as of recently, you use this Creator Companion, and we've learned you need to have a really short path or it doesn't work. Okay, here we go. Coming up. When I do these Blunder through Blender and Blunder through Unity things, I'm flying by the seat of my pants and improvising because, like probably a lot of you, I don't read enough of the manuals or tutorials. I jump right in and try to get something done. Oh, we did come in way up there, and then we fell, and then somehow we die because that's why we keep respawning, because we die. All right, so that teaches me something. And now I need to get out of that. It's really going crazy now. All right, so let that do its thing. So that means if I'm going to go here and I say, well, let's just say that where we put the the VRC world when it was originally set to 0, 0, 0, that was it, then our world, our terrain, should come up to there, but it's in the wrong, I'm not getting this out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. There, thank you. It really should be at the same place. So VRC world somewhere is up here, and let's go to looking down on it. And then our terrain, we want to move over. And then VRC world is still here, but we want to, yeah, we want to bring our terrain up. And our VRC world and our terrain. I'll never understand why the numbers aren't right. Like if the world is at 0, 0, 0, why can't I just put the terrain at 0, 0? What if I put the terrain at 0? What does that do? So I come into here and I look at the world thing. I hit F to zoom in on it, and it's still too low. So I'm going to bring the terrain down. And I guess what I can do is bring the terrain down in position to maybe negative, oh, it went down below the camera that time. So let me try -3. Let's try that, -3. And then let me look at the VRC world. And it's still underneath the world, so the terrain's got to be a little lower than that. Let's try that. What did I just change? Okay. And then the world is a little bit above. So we'll still fall through the air, but I don't think we'll die. Let's see. It's always fun. All right, so build and test. And you wait and wait and wait. Anyway, what I was saying is that the path has to be really short. So when the path is long, the SDK will not work. So I put it F, I made a folder called Unity Short Path, then Rosebud for VRChat Short Path, and that was just all that it could take. Otherwise you end up clogging your C drives. Okay, so it says the scene descriptor is okay. No, yes, no, here we go. Gonna work, not gonna work. Cool. Loading. Go, and let's hope. Let's see, so we start up in the air. And, oh, look at that. Kind of perfect. You can really move around. So we are at Rosebud. It worked. It really worked. All right. Well, that is cool. That means we can start building. All right. That's the world. Quick links, VRChat, go home, respawning, social worlds. These are my worlds. My worlds I have uploaded, but it hasn't been uploaded yet. These are the ones I built before. So if I did want to go to my world, I did this education gallery. Oh, I can't travel because I'm in offline testing mode. I'm not online. All right, well, I will go online. It will show that it works. So that's cool. Right, that. All righty. Now, the first thing that we probably want to do with this is we want to put in our famous biodigesters. And where they go, they go, they go. They go over here. There's one of them right there. The dragon. The dragon is right there. So I've got to import that asset from, let's see, it would be from my Unity projects, from Rosebud, from assets. And what do I have in the way of models for Rosebud? I have Big Brick Biogas System. Which one is that? Let's see. That's a little biogas system. That ain't the one I wanted. I can still put it there, but yay hooray, that's not what we use for real in here. The other thing you have to do, by the way, this is crucial because I probably didn't put the landscape in the right size, is you got to check with a car. Although, and if you, I mean, that's how I size things. So I'm going to go to the asset store. I'm going to get a Tesla or an electric car. Maybe they have a Chevy Volt. Let's see what they have. Let's see. So search for assets and go Chevy Volt. Doesn't happen. So electric car. Industrial forklift comes up. Electric low poly car pack, but it's $14.99. I don't want that. I'm going to do filter for free. On sale only. Where's the price thing? View results. 24. Popularity. Sort by price. Low to high. And pricing. Open it up and say for 0. There's nothing for 0. And let me just say car. Shoot. No free electric cars, eh? So pricing. Free assets. And realistic cars here, car controller, free arcade car, supercar, sedan. What kind of car do I want? Looks like I already have this one. Let's see if I already have it. Realistic car, import. Doesn't say. It says you downloaded this item in 2022. So how come I can't import it again? Oh, probably because I need to go to my window of my package manager. There are no packages. Oh, lovely. And go to, oh, they all came up there. Okay, so then go to, not Unity registry, but this machine is slow today. JetBrains, Unity registry, in project, my assets. There we go. It's going to fetch the packages, and then I should have a car somewhere in here. If I go to search, does it let me search? Is there any search thing? No search. Load more. Carton, free shipping containers, low poly cars. There it is. I did have it, and I got a bunch of them. And then I can download them again for this project. And then I can import. Okay, and then which one do I want to import? All assets, broken vector. Oh, I have it. Okay, so I might as well get them all. Why not? Bring them into the thing. It takes its time. Get all these cars and trucks to bring in. It says, hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. And I have things like low poly vegetation kit, karting micro game, water, a lot of stuff to learn to play with. All right, it says it's done. That means that when I close this and go back to my scene and I go to broken vector and I go to low poly car pack and I go to prefabs, there I have a car. And we might as well bring in a green car because we're green and see. And yeah, it does fit. It is the right size because look at that. That's nice. We should put it under the carport. Put it right onto the driveway there. If anything, no, maybe the world is too small. No, maybe not. For now, we'll keep it as is. Putting the car down onto the ground. Get its tires out of the ground. All right, so the sizing seems okay. I do want to import the biodigester if I can find it, and that wasn't the right biodigester. So what was, if that biogas system was not right? The dragon's head, we want to come in, that's certainly true. The fifth wheel, I guess we could bring in the fifth wheel. Because that's what we live in. And we just have to be careful that we stay small enough. There's my fifth wheel. Drop it in, where did it go? fifth wheel, hit F. It's way out there. So let's move it. And the fastest way to move it would be to come to where we live and find out where that is. But I don't know how to do that. So maybe we just go overview like this and zoom way the heck out, bring the fifth wheel in, and then bring it over, and then bring it down into the trees, right? And then zoom into it, and then go like this. And that fifth wheel is way too big. That's way too big. And we'd know that because if you bring in a truck, that would be huge. So I've got to scale this down. And what I'll do is I'll go to the scaling tool and then I'll have to size that. You can see little cars on the road there. So size that, bring it down by moving it. And again, we'll have to do all of this little by little. So what else do I have that I can bring in here? Import new asset. I have a solar pavilion object and solar panels ground mount. Well, let's bring in the solar panels ground mount and bring that in and try to place it somewhat nearer to where it would actually go. Hit F to zoom in. There's our solar panel. That's a tiny solar panel ground mount, so that isn't actually the one I wanted to use, but it'll do for now. And you don't belong over there. You belong over here, don't you? But you start populating it. That's the point I'm trying to make here. And bring in another asset. We'll bring in a hoop house and the home biogas. Oh, there's that. There it is. So let's bring in the home biogas that I made. That actually goes near the RV. Let's see now if we save this and we upload it. Let's do the test, build and test, and see what we get. And hope. Meanwhile, the way that I'm learning how to do this, when I had a problem, particularly with installing the Create companion, I wrote onto the Discord channel, and Fax from the VRChat was very patient with me. And you can see I kept posting screenshot after screenshot after screenshot, and other people jumped in to help. So you do have this wonderful support community out there that's really good at answering questions, and you can look stuff up. So if you're not a Discord user, I would suggest that you get a Discord account, download the app, and use Discord. All right, we're up. Here we go. And hit go. And remember, this is not published yet. This is just a test that they let you do now with the new Creator Companion before you publish. I think I'm going to publish after this if this works. There we go. So yeah, look at that. So over here, we had that little biodigester. And over there we have the car. Is there a way to jump through? No, you can't jump through. Options. There's no jumping on this. Okay. None of the buttons let you jump. Shift click, no. Anyway, I guess you just have to move around. There's no teleporting right there, but there is the car. Seems a bit small relative to what my hands would be. The whole, that's weird, but that's the only one we brought in without changing the size. And there's the biodigester there. Seems to be floating in thin air. But yeah, pretty cool. There's my RV, way too tiny. Guess that's way too small. The RV, that looks right from the perspective. The bees seem to be a bit small, basketball court. So we've got some sizing issues that we're going to have to deal with, but I'm not displeased with this. And it means that things are working, that I can get stuff in. The only thing, there's push to talk. Hello, hello, I'm there. Hello, hello, this is me. Hello, Houston. So, notifications, information. This is the VRChat in PC mode. All right, so that worked out. Now we can do a real build. And I want to switch the target to Android after I've built for the PC, so I can test it with my Oculus. So let me do a build and publish for Windows. And then you can go, after it builds and publishes, you can go into the Creator and you can go to Tools and open the Quick Launcher. And then you can launch your own VRChat, which you'll have to download. So I'm going to launch all selected. It's going to come up. It's still building down here, so I don't expect it to be there quite yet. It might be now. Let's see. It's initializing. Lordy, if you spend all the time learning how to do this, as I did during COVID back in 2020, and now it's almost 3 years later, and they've changed the way that you upload. They've made it simpler, but it was harder to install. It's always like you're never keeping up with the learning curve because the curve just keeps getting steeper and steeper. There's always more to learn. So I'm going to my VRChat and let it load, taking its time. And I think coming out of the Creator Companion, I think it's logged me in as me, so I don't have to do the login information. I think it's already there, I hope. But nothing's happening. So that's not good. Why ain't nothing happening? Do I want to wait, or is there a problem? So we're not getting nothing going. Oh, it's coming in now. Well, no, it's kind of not coming in. Where'd it go? No. Sure is taking the longest, isn't it? Music's playing. Alright, that's ticking me off. So I'm going to cancel that. And I'm going to try it from here. VRChat. See if that does anything. My launcher clearly weren't working. I close down Blender. Maybe. It shouldn't have affected anything. There's Steam. There's VRChat. Coming up. Come on, VRChat. Been doing a lot of learning today. Learned that you have to put in a scene descriptor to make it work, which I did. Here we go. Come on, come on. Coming on, coming on. Computers, right? This time. Music plays. It says it's loading. All right, maybe this time it'll work. And then it disappeared. Oh, there it came. Okay, good. Go. All right, that's the kind of day you have when you're testing all this stuff. Hours and hours troubleshooting. It's enough to drive someone to distraction. But here we go. Okay, so I'm in my own world. I created this world here back during the COVID epidemic, using the tutorial that they gave and using the sample that they gave, and I put this windmill in here that I got from, where did I get it from? I don't remember. Probably from 3D Warehouse. Now I can't even get up the stairs. Yes, I can, to get back in, all right. And putting these things so you could sit. And you can see I did put in a picture of the Roblox version of Rosebud that I had. Or is that the, no, actually that is not the Roblox, that's the AltSpace one, back when I had it in AltSpace, but now we're building it here. All right, so to get to my world, I'm going to go to Worlds, and I'm going to go to My Worlds, and go to Uploaded, and it doesn't show up. Why? Why doesn't it show up? It should have showed up. Oh, it says Unity Access Configure World. Oh my gosh. Unity application is running. Stop it to access the control panel. Name your world. I didn't even name my world. I'm going to call this Rosebud in VRChat. All that for nothing. 16 people capacity. This is a version of our real world. Actually, it should be, this is a VR version of our real world Echo Science Center, the Rosebud Continuum Sustainability Education Center in Land O'Lakes, Florida. Always under construction. Please pardon our appearance. It was created for students to learn XR for... Is it still... Oh no, don't tell me I lost everything I was writing. Oh no. This is an XR version of the real Rosebud Continuum Sustainability Education Center in Land O'Lakes, Florida. Let's just leave it at that. And then tags, nothing right now. There's no violence in here. This is accurate information. And then move the VR cam to your preferred position for preview image. Oh, shoot. Nope, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to load it. All right, so that's... It prepared the file, now it uploads the file. Eventually I have to change that image. Hey there, Nathan, how are you? Good, how are you? I'll be okay if this works. I have to transfer the Rosebud VR from AltSpace, which is shutting down, to VRChat, but I'm rebuilding it from scratch, so it's taking a long time. Their servers are going down because Microsoft is changing to this new thing called Mesh, where Microsoft Teams and all the Microsoft Office products will all be enmeshed with VR, AR, XR. It's a whole new, but it's not ready yet, so I'm using one. So you're getting the jump on it. Yes. You've uploaded a private world. You can find it on in your browser. Is the shredder? Shredder is broken right now. The shaft snapped, and so we took it apart. It's a difficult process because we had to put it in an oven a propane forge and heat it red hot and then cool it down and then hammer it to get the blades off because it had rusted. Now we're having a new shaft laser cut up in New Jersey, and then we're going to reassemble it and hopefully. But it turns out it needs a lot more maintenance than we were giving it. It should have been oiled properly. It should have never been allowed to rust. Yeah. You can't just use it. Did they say that? No, it's in some manual. It's in a manual. Okay, so launch. I'm sorry, I'm recording right now, but that was Nathan LaFata. He's a fellow PCGS student, and he's living here at this very Rosebud. Oh, this world is private and can only be visible via direct links. All right. So if we launch this, then Any friend of the user in the instance may join. And you can also invite me. You can invite others. So I'll use Friends Plus and create an instance. Launch world. Locked link. Okay. Well, let's see. It's doing another instance of it, so I'll shut down this instance. And see what happens now. Now, if this works, my next step will be to rebuild it for Android and then try it on the Oculus. Because you have to do it for both and publish it for both. Another one of those hassles. All right, so go. Go, where's my mouse? Give me my mouse. There we go, go. And we are now online and live. So there we are. All right, so there we are. Again, the sizes are a big problem. There's the home biogas system. There's that car. We need to put in the houses and such. Can't fly or do anything there, and there's no way to teleport. Or is there? There's an options wheel. Chat box name, gestures, configure, personal mirror. Put in a personal mirror? Can't put in a personal mirror. Settings, calibration, face the mirror. It doesn't do anything. And gestures, nameplates, chat box, back, configure. Avatar overlay, HUD position, menu size. All right, well, that doesn't really do much. So, oh, there's that solar panel way over there. So maybe there is a way that I don't know to teleport, but it's not obvious to me. But you can walk over and go, hello, solar panel. There you are. And there's my hands. So I do have hands in here. I just don't know how to use them in this version of it. But that's a start. At least we know it is working. When we go to Worlds now, and we go to My Worlds, it says I've uploaded 4, and there it is, Rosebud in VRChat. You see it just shows a blue circle that says it works in the PC, but the green circle that is my home base, which is for the Oculus, is not there. So for that, I would have to, it says it's successfully uploaded, good. Manage world in browser. So what I do then is I go to the SDK and go to control panel, and now I want to build and test it, switch building target to Android. Confirm. And it says it'll take a while to recompile all those scripts. And then I'm going to go inside and try it on the Oculus and hope that everything is working, and then I can start building in earnest. But I think we got it down. I think now it's just a matter of rebuilding the entire Rosebud here in VRChat. Using, by the way, Unity version 2019.4.31. That seems to be the only version that's supported right now. I have that installed on my external drive, deep in some folder, but I built the project in a folder that is very close, and you can see in Creator Companion when you go to project, none of these worked until I put one on the C drive, and then eventually I put one on the short path on the F drive. Right there, there's the path. When I did the C drive, the path was just C Unity project, and then there was the project. It's got to be a really short project. This other one, like this chat trial I did, was way down this path so tiny you can't see it. And so if the path is tiny enough that you can't see it, it's way too long. That's what I learned today. So that's good. Unity project template world, that's how I started learning. If I have a template world that's on this tiny path here, no, it's too tiny, you cannot, it ain't gonna work. So make sure that you are using a very short path, just a folder, and that's all it should be. And then this Creator Companion does seem to work. This is still taking forever to do its thing. So I'm just stalling until that happens. You can create new projects from here when you go to new, or you can add projects that you have on something. But since I created my original Rosebud in another format, I didn't want to deal with any translation errors. I wanted to start from scratch because I think it might have been too big for the quest anyway. So I'll build up, and then if I go into the quest and it tells me it's over the size limit, I'll just take out the last objects that I entered. But there's a whole art to pulling in objects that are not too large. They have a learn section here. Settings. I have tells me where my Unity is installed, that particular editor, 2019.4.31. Where the backups go. I'm going to select a new folder, actually. I don't want it to go to the backups. The backups should go to here, and should go to Unity Short Path. That's where I want my backups. Okay. And you can add your own packages. I don't have any. And then there's these tools, the quick launcher. It says to learn more. You can go learn more about the quick launcher. Okay. We are still waiting for this to finish loading, to do the build. And that's a pain. Like, I don't know why they make you do that. I don't know why it won't just, I guess because it's compiling for those things. But you always want to build for your PC so you can use your PC and other PC users can join you. I do believe that if you build for both the PC and the Android, that people can meet in the same world, but I haven't verified that. I hope so, because I want my students all to be able to meet, whether they're on the Oculus or they're on the computer. I also wish that while this was doing all its importing, I could work on stuff, but I can't in there. Using Unity Hub 3.4.1. And I'm not using this anymore. This chat trial failed me. So I'm going to have to put in my new Rosebud in here. This one I'm not using at all. Rosebud migrated. So let me remove this project from the list. I'm not using template world main, so I'm going to remove this project from the list. I'm going to use template world. I'm not doing. And this new project, this is Rosebud for VR Short Path. So I'm not sure why that isn't coming up. If I add a project from the disk, it should be here under Unity Short Path, Rosebud, add project. Now it's going to be in my Unity hubs where it should be. It says I started working on it 2 hours ago. That Rosebud on C drive for VRChat I am not going to use anymore, so I'm going to remove that project from the list. And whatever this new project I started 19 hours ago, I don't want that. And the Rosebud VRChat trial I don't need either.
Are you getting guests?
I believe that he's coming in 10 or 20 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. I got it to work finally. All that frustration last night. I'm recording right now, so you're welcome. I got VRChat's software developers kit to work because I went to the Discord channel and one of the creators of it wrote me back all day and had me field test things until we determined that it was a file path error. But that was really nice. You put screenshots in and you have conversations with them. It was really neat. So that's cool. This does take a long time. And a lot of what it's doing is it's reinterpreting all the drawdown images that I was putting in.
I think
And you may have to import images if they're big, because that can really make your world slow down. So you shouldn't have really high resolution images. It's a mess. It seems to take a long time too, so I may be shooting myself in the foot with this one. And none of those are even in the world right now. I think maybe you can do build and test. Before uploading your world, you may build and test it in the VRChat client. You won't be able to invite anyone from online, but you can launch multiple of your own clients. So maybe even with the build target set to Android, I could still test here in the PC. That would be interesting. And this should then switch from publish for Windows. We'll see what happens when this thing is actually switched to Android. It seems to be taking its sweet time for that. I'm curious about the quick launcher. As you can see, it tells you where VRChat is put in on your machine. And then it has launch options, debug, MIDI, watch worlds, watch avatars, watches the location where it builds avatars, watches the location where it builds worlds and automatically joins any new local world created. I'm going to put that in there. Udon log, SDK log. So create instance URL, open some website, join local none. Yeah, you have to learn about all this stuff. And let's see what else we have here. To learn Unity, if you're having trouble, I would go to learn.unity.com. I've been working on these tutorials, and I'm now working in progress on some of these tutorials on VR events and interactions. And then there's the submissions I did. So completed ones. I loved doing the personal 3D gallery. That was a good one. Did the VR beginner escape room, grabbable objects, sockets, hanging hats on things, activation events for starting the television, making sounds of a crackling fire. That was all fun stuff. Groups, Unity Essentials and Creators. Settings, nothing there. My profile. Show the one submission I've made. And then they have for educators, free educator resources, which is pretty cool. Curriculum guides, project discounts. So I think we'll be using a lot of that. But can we please be finished now so I can test it and get on with things? Here's my VRChat. And resubmit that. And it does show that the Rosebud is there, but it doesn't say Quest yet because it's not not done for the Quest yet. So it's taking its sweet time. And it wants me to sign in again. So that's interesting to know. So it looks like it's done. It's compiling the scripts. Why is it floating my objects? I do not know. But it definitely kicked me out of here. And this is a process you'd have to go through every time that you switch to compiling for the PC as well as for the Android. So I'm somewhat discouraged. I guess you go away and have a tea, or maybe you can create another instance of your project. All right, so it's still working. it ain't ready yet. Maybe it's better to open 2 instances, keep updating one or another. Because it ain't letting me do nothing.
Are you still recording?
Yeah, trying to get this whole process down, as annoying as it is. All right, so now it's opening the package manager and resolving the packages, and it's importing, and it eventually should show back up, and this should become available to me again. I know this is like watching paint dry, but to know how long it takes for paint to dry, you have to watch paint dry. So recording all this might be helpful for somebody who wants to get into it and then says, oh, I don't have time tonight because I scrolled through what TH did and saw that it takes forever to do some of these procedures, and that gives you a better idea. So maybe your machine is faster, I don't know. I just don't know. Can't do what? No, I mean, I'm monitoring how long. I can turn off the audio. I can pause the audio. All right, so there, it worked. It worked, and so now we are going to have to sign in. All right, we are signed in, and hold on, and let's go to build. And it's still spinning, the wheel is spinning, the wheel is spinning.